logging in. If you guys would be kind enough to say where you're logging in from, hit the like button, and feel free to continue doing so throughout the dialogue.
The Jew in the closet.
If you're catching the simulcast over on the YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And if you enjoy my work and you'd like to support the program, please visit jkdrebel.com, click on the Rebel Gear link, and that's where you'll see stuff like this. The ever popular Keep Calm and Learn to Fight Ferociously JKD t-shirt, long sleeve, short sleeve, hoodie, coffee mug, all that good stuff. But of course, the best thing you can do is to talk about the dialogues and spread the word. So you see this good looking guy on the side of me here? So this is another one of my Jeet Kune Facebook friends, right? Because we've never met in person. And Paul Johnson of the Real JKD Association told me I was an idiot for never getting him on the show before. So
that's funny.
All right. So Shaan Davis, welcome to the Jeet Kune Dialogues.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
So listen, man. Right off the
and
out
hello
the gate.
To everyone that's watching. Hope every yes,
tell us about Vengeance Served Cold.
Wow. I didn't expect that. Oh, Vengeance Served Cold is you did some research.
Yeah, baby.
Okay, so Vengeance Served Cold is a film that a friend of mine named Jackie White had written almost 10 years ago, and I met her on the film set because I also do seminar photography, editing for film. Also award-winning filmmaker, and I was working with her on another project, and she told me about it, and we never got a chance to do it because of my personal medical reasons. I had to take a break from filming, and then years later, about 2 years ago, we filmed the movie. We actually got together, and the other friend of mine, Brian, brought him on. We filmed the movie, and now it's completed, and we're getting it out there to festivals and distribution.
Yeah, I saw.
And that was one of the.
I saw another one that were you involved? I forget the name of it. Dead something Part 2, and
Dead to Rights.
Yeah, Dead to Rights. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a series.
Okay. Yeah. Now, were you involved in that one too?
Only for the first episode, I helped do some filming.
Okay.
But all through the whole series, I wasn't on that project. Just the first episode, I helped out doing some cinematography. And then I was working on other projects, so I wasn't able to complete it. But some of the same people that helped me with Vengeance Served Cold also was involved with that film. He was the main cinematographer, actually, Brian McCollin.
All right, cool.
Yeah, but we're all connected.
I get it. Yes. I mean, the industry is that way, right? I mean, everybody, when people work together on a project, then sometimes they kind of move from project to project together, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
Yeah. So how long you been in that industry?
Since about 15 years old. So that
what?
Yeah, about 15. Yeah, because my dad was into film. He was a filmmaker, and I used to just still borrow his cameras and and go film stuff. And he was like, "Don't touch my cameras. I pay a lot of money for them." And I actually did a good film with them. Me and my brother and I, we did a nice little short film in our neighborhood, and he was really impressed. He was like, "Wow, we really need to learn to do this now." I said, "Now we did a good film. You're gonna allow us to do it."
Mm-hmm.
So since then, I would help out on the set. My main thing is editing. I also can.
Okay.
But my main thing is editing. That's where I'm really, really proficient at. Is editing.
Did your dad work on it?
But I touch other.
Did your dad work on anything that I would recognize?
Oh, there's a few films that I would tell you. Yeah, that's out. Some things are on Netflix. The movie Hoodlum. I don't remember that classic. A lot of independent films.
Oh, okay. Also. Okay. All right. So sometimes I tell the audience that they're going to see me get to know somebody at the same time that they get to know him because of my questions and what have you. So I
Yes.
I am very intrigued by your background because when I look through stuff, I know
Yes.
obviously there's a JKD thing there, but I saw stuff Makoto Kan, I saw stuff from Lua, I saw stuff from
Yes.
Nakua, right? So you gotta you get fill me in, man. Fill in all those blanks for me. Tell me what your martial art background is.
Okay, my martial arts background. I started my first taste of martial arts, literally taste, was a young man that lived in my complex in Brooklyn, New York. His name was Brother Josh Shim. He taught me Hunga Kung Fu. We worked on a lot of forms. I was about 8 years old. We worked on a
Uh,
lot of forms, Hunga Kung Fu. Then he went away. I think he was in the service, if I'm not mistaken, and he came back and he started to teach me JKD. And it was weird for me because I didn't understand it. There was no forms. It was totally different from what I expected, you know. And
right.
he was like, "No, we're not
Yeah.
doing no forms right now. We're learning to do this." It was more like a boxing thing from what he had told me, and that was my first introduction. And I didn't understand it, and so he said, "It's Bruce Lee's thing." I knew who Bruce Lee was, of course,
Hmm.
even at 8, because that's all my parents watched. Um, then he had moved. So I went to continue training. So for my 9th birthday, my grandmother took me to a Kyokushin karate school that was not too far from where I lived. I lived downtown Brooklyn, and it was a school there on Flatbush Avenue. Um, Kyokushin karate by CG Moore. I stayed there, a red belt, and then I moved, all right, with my dad,
Ah.
and then he taught me. My dad started teaching me jujitsu, Haikaru jujitsu, and I learned from him. Um, and over the year, then during that time, I wanted to box, and my dad didn't really want me to box. He was afraid of the injury, but I did anyway. And I was a big guy at the time in my teenage years, about 17 years old. I was a really big guy. I was 265 pounds, and I boxed heavyweight. And I was really serious about it. I wanted to go pro,
Hmm.
and I had a really good. I had 12-0 undefeated record as an amateur, and I boxed in Philly and in Brooklyn, and then I got sick around age 20. I got really sick, bad with diabetes. I got diagnosed with it, and they told me I couldn't box no more because when I had caught a stroke in the hospital, I lost my eyesight. Whatever happened, it destroyed my eyesight, and I had to get the lens replaced. So they told me I wouldn't be able to
Hmm.
box. So I continued boxing, but not fighting,
Yeah.
training
Right.
and fighting. And I took like a year off, um, actually going to the gym, but I still trained at home and did things like that. And I'll say within the year after boxing, I just wanted to train people in it. So I would just train the kids in the neighborhood, training the kids in the neighborhood. Some of my friends, they wanted to box, and I just trained them. And I said, you know what, I need to just do this full time. Since I can't fight, I was really upset because I really wanted to fight.
Hmm.
So I started teaching boxing, and then I started teaching everything else along with it. And I'm always hungry for arts, always hungry for arts. Then I started. I got a job with INS. I was a part of ICE for about 10 years. I worked for ICE, and this is when I got introduced. Well, I got introduced before this, but this is when I started taking ninjutsu seriously. I was part of the Gimbal Con in Baltimore, Maryland. Um, I started the Gimbal Con under Robert Stevens, and in Brooklyn under Ishmael Rodriguez. They were all masters. I studied that for about 5 years solidly, and from there I just traveled, and when I got with my teacher David Crosby, that's when I got back to the JKD. and he also did Kali. He was under Rick Tucci.
Okay.
Um, yeah, he was under Rick Tucci. Then he taught me CDT training because he did a lot, and he was also a Taekwondo. Um, for the kids, he did a lot of Taekwondo because he would have them in tournaments and
Right.
stuff like that. So I just started going on and training everywhere because I traveled a lot with my job. So anytime I traveled, I find a school there,
Right.
to go train and meet people. So that's how I ended up getting known all over the world
Hmm.
from traveling with people, and everybody always liked my attitude and my humility. And I just continued to train. And I got into the Lua a couple of years ago with my teacher Michelle, more than a couple of years ago. But now I'm taking it full. I'm fully training with her
I
now,
see.
all the
Yeah.
way,
We're,
and I'm just
okay. Were you in
expanding.
the military?
Yes,
That was during what period? That was before
yes,
ICE?
Marine.
Okay.
Oh yeah, right before ICE. Right before ICE, I was I only did 2 years because that's when I got sick. Right after they found out I had diabetes while I was in there, while I was in service. I
Uh,
was in North Carolina, Camp Lejeune, Marine Corps.
okay.
Right, so I did the 2 years and I had to go for medical leave because it was more serious than I thought. My diabetes, because a lot of other things came out of that.
Hmm.
A lot of other elements,
Hmm.
you know, came out of it, and it was bad, honestly.
Right. Right. Okay. All right. So, how did you get in with the real JKD Association? What's the story? What's the story behind that?
Um, I used to talk to Paul Johnson a whole lot, and he asked me. He says, "Do you do JKD or something like that?" I said, "Yeah, but I do a lot of other art. So you may see me do a few things and then see something else, and like, oh, that's not JKD." One thing I did, and he was like, "Well, I like your JKD." He spoke to me, and we would talk a lot, and we would go back and forth on the page.
Hmm.
And he asked me to join in, and then he wanted to see some videos of me actually doing just pure JKD, and I did. I showed him some, a lot of videos actually,
Hmm.
and now he asks every time I do something, put it on the page, and he knows my story as well. He really knows my story, what I came from, and me being an amputee and everything, and still training, and that really impressed him for me to be able to do certain things, and we just
Right.
built a weird relationship from there.
Okay. Okay. So you
Yeah.
never so now the real JKD Association, we could call it like a Jerry Poteet Association. So like
Yes. Yes.
that generation of JKD people, have you trained with any of them?
Not directly, no.
Okay.
No, never trained with anyone directly under them. No.
Okay. David Frost, you said he's the introduction and like your main source of JKD then.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. He
Yeah.
was my number one source. And currently, I will be training. Currently, I will be training with Vincent Martinez, which is the student of Richard Torres, Seafood Richard Torres
Okay.
in New
So
Jersey.
I'm gonna save you from
So
getting
I'm
in
going to be going
trouble.
to him.
I'm gonna save you from getting in trouble. Vincent
Yes,
Benitez.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Because you said Martinez and Vincent is my boy. I can't let you do that.
No, I said Boston Benitez. I'm sorry. He would kill me, right?
I
Sorry,
know,
Seafood.
right?
If you're listening,
I
Seafood, I'm
know, right?
sorry.
See, so I'm gonna save you. You know, listen. I have I mean, I guess we could say I have a particular relationship with those guys out of
Yes,
Rochelle Park and Mount Vernon and what have you. And
absolutely.
you know, the funny thing is that I think that a lot of people like they don't understand. Like they see me and Richard Torres going back and forth, right? And
Yes, yes.
what they don't know because they're stupid is that it's done with respect,
Always. I've noticed that.
right?
Yes,
Because yeah, because
yes.
you know how it is in this world. Everybody's looking to cancel everybody else.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Right? And
Yeah, absolutely.
and I'm sure you think of it this way. Jeet Kune stands apart from all that is accepted as normal. You know what I mean?
Yes. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
along your journey, when I check out your page, man, there's a lot of you got
Yes.
there's a lot of spiritual stuff on there from what I see. Tell
Yes.
tell me
Yes.
about that. Tell me about growing. So you grew up in Brooklyn, but now you live in New Jersey, right?
No, no, I'm still in New York.
You're still okay. Okay. Okay.
I'm still
Oh,
in
so
New York. Yes.
you
I did live in Jersey for a
okay.
little while.
All
Yes.
right.
I did live in Jersey
Right.
actually. Yeah. I was in Verona, New Jersey for a
Okay.
while and Inglewood.
Okay.
But now I'm back in New York.
All
Yes.
right. Okay.
Temporarily.
So
Yes.
okay. No, I don't think anybody ever wakes up one day and decides, okay, I want to be spiritual. It's a thing that just happens. But can you tell me a little bit
Yes.
about the things like maybe events, people, or whatever that help to shape you
Okay.
in, and give you that mindset?
Okay. Well, I I'll say this. What got me heavy into spiritualism, um, I believe, is the things I've been through as far as health issues, right? The
Right.
health
Yeah.
challenges.
Yeah.
As a kid, they say that I was always like that. I didn't recognize it because whatever it was, to me, I thought it was just a normal thing that human beings should just be. So I didn't look
Mhm.
at it as I am this. It's just a duty that I just do because it's normal. Everybody's spiritual. Then I learned later that's not the case.
Right.
Um, I always thought about positivity because I like the way how being positive feels. And I always felt I shouldn't give up on anything, even if positivity is not working at the time,
Mhm.
right? Because we all struggle with it. Oh, I think positive and that's it. But it's not just thinking positive; it's it's
Right.
applying it, trying to find
Right.
ways to apply it. And I was always a poet, so I used to write a lot, write my feelings
Hmm.
down, and I ended up being philosophical
Yeah.
naturally. So thinking positive, being philosophical is leading you to where being openly spiritual. I believe how it happened for me. Going through those things like I saw death 3 times, literally. I flatlined 3 times, right? Some people know, some people don't, but I share it. That really got me on a higher level of spirituality, I believe,
Dig it.
um, because every challenge I went through, I overcame because I always said to myself, I am greater than any of my suffering. I always felt that way. I
Right.
said, I'm greater than this. And I always looked at things as an obstacle, not an end of life.
Hmm.
I looked at it as a challenge or
Hmm.
something, a stone I have to walk over, right?
Yeah.
I just stumbled, but now I just got to learn to catch my balance now. So I got to work better on my footwork, right? Same thing
Uh,
applying. So that's how I took it. That's how I took it. I took it like, let me build my foundation. I stopped. At one point, I was so embarrassed when I lost my leg, right? Not embarrassed that it happened. I was angry because I felt, man, I'm not going to be able to do the things I do. I can't kick up here no more.
right.
I can't even hold my leg over a chair. All
Hmm.
the basic things that you do as a beginner, I struggled with that.
Yeah.
So my spiritual strength caused me to go in a hospital after surgery, getting kidney removed, putting my leg up in the hospital bed. I said, I'm going to be sitting here for a few months. I need this leg to be strong, right? Because I know after I knew that I'll get it, I said, wait, there's people that lost 2 legs or they have none. Why am I complaining? I'm only losing half a leg. So I always felt that somebody's going through something worse. and always felt that things could be worse.
Right.
And my only answer was that the universe was helping me, right? Was guiding me. So I
Yeah.
always try to share how I won these battles or overcame them with other people. That's why I post so much about it, you
Hmm.
know? And I truly believe what I write, and I try to live that way. It's not just putting up fancy quotes and for likes. I don't care about that. There's many people that just go, you know. I
Yeah.
don't do it for that.
Yeah.
I do it for people that can use it. And
Right.
then when I get people inbox me or call me and say, brother, your strength, such and such, help me, I have to keep going, even if I'm suffering during that
Mhm.
time. Sometimes my suffering helps other people. It may sound
Right.
crazy, but it does because they see me keep
Yeah.
going regardless. Yes, I get frustrated. I get frustrated. I get tired. Like, oh, here's a problem now. You know, the last seminar I did, I was in pain the whole time from bladder cancer, and this was just a month ago.
Yeah.
You see, so and I said, well, I'm going to overcome this
Right.
too.
Right.
Right, just a month ago, I went to North Carolina at my student school and did a seminar there. I was in pain the whole time,
Yeah.
but I kept going and training and just helped me just say, listen, I can get over it. I've
Right.
done it already. I flatlined 3 times. The last time was 35 minutes, and he was on my way to the ice box, and I just happened to wake up. So that testimony makes me say, how can I give up? How can I give too much negative people so much energy?
Right.
Because I used to clap back at these
Right.
people that say
Right.
things
Right.
and
Right.
they
Right. Right.
complain.
Yeah.
But I said, they don't need that. I don't need that. Let me just give them the good energy because a lot of people don't know what they're talking about, and they want to
Hmm.
know. A lot of people want to know, and they don't want to humble themselves to ask, can you tell me? So they throw things at me
Hmm.
negatively, but they really hungry for knowledge or they want my strength. I realize
Right.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
now,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, and not everyone is that way. Some people really don't care for me for whatever reason, but it is what it is.
Man, that.
I hope I kind of answer your question because there's
No.
so many
Listen.
things. That's
Listen.
why it's difficult
See,
because,
when somebody like you comes on the program, right, and talks
yes, sir.
about stuff like that, it just reinforces for me how stupid the Facebook arguments are.
Yes, yeah, they are. Some of them I just go, what? I said, I'm not going to comment. I'm going to leave that one alone.
Right.
But sometimes I have to go, no, I have to say something. No, 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 you can't be thinking this way.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm not going
Yeah.
to go too far. They're going to have to say, that was just my point.
Yeah.
So then they go all out of here and it goes to a whole nother subject that has nothing to do with what the forum was. So I'm
Right.
like, okay, now we're going somewhere else. Let me leave that alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm learning not to even pay it no mind. I do it with my friends now, like say you and I are speaking, because I know that we're gonna have respect amongst each other, right?
Right.
I do it with Paul all the time. We boom, 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 we fight, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And even with some of my teachers, but it's always respectful, always.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and some of these other guys that don't know you, they just come out their face. Well, you never been in this fight. You never been there. You have no idea what I've been through.
Right.
And I don't have to
Yeah.
sit there and say, "Here's my certificate. Here's a video of me fighting."
Hmm.
For what?
Hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
That kind of stuff. All right. So tell me that. So now I've seen both logos, the SDCS and now the JKDCS.
right,
Is one an
right.
evolution in from the other?
It's just a subsystem, basically,
Okay.
right? Sean Davis, combative science is just simply my interpretation of every art that works for me.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
because there's so many I've done. Whatever, if I don't care if I take one particular kick from Kyokushin karate, one joint lock from jujitsu, or a knife drill from Kali or stick, whatever, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
If it works for me, because whatever you show me, I can build off it. That's just one of my gifts. That's with anything I do. You show me one thing and I understand the concept, right? Like I always say to my students, I always put up this quote. I said, if I teach you to grow a flower, I would be happy if you come back showing me that you planted a rose garden, meaning you understand the concept of planting, not how to grow a flower, but you understand the concept of planting.
Right.
And you surpass me because I never had the chance to, I never had that chance to come with a rose garden. I did a flower, I'm happy, but you understood the concept and took it to another level. And that's what I love. This is why I do it.
Yeah.
Now,
I saw that quote of yours. I saw that quote of yours that said something like, if your students can't teach you, then you haven't really taught them anything.
Right. Yes. That's one of my quotes from a book that I'm working on.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
I believe that.
Yeah.
They can't teach you later. Because I always say, show me what you learned from me, from what I taught you. I can teach you this punch, but what did you learn from that punch? What did you learn from it? You can show me the punch. Anybody can show me the punch, but what did you learn from it? What's your perspective on it from doing it so much? What did you discover doing that punch? That's what I'm looking for. At first, I want to see you doing it properly. Okay, now do it enough so where you make it your own, right? Same principle. So the JKD system is for a lot of people who want to learn it. So whatever I have, I share it. You know, because I don't want people to say, "Oh, he's confusing it with this. He's doing it and that." I have a system just for that. You know, I have actually females that's very interested in there in the system because of the simplicity of it.
Right.
So I share it. And then, you know, I have a JKD family from all over the world. I know I have so many JKD friends, family that I've trained with besides, you know, going to their schools, but I trained with them. We shared ideas and different perspectives. So I feel I can do it. I can have my own, you know. It's just a subsystem for us. Not in the whole brand, just my interpretation of the same. That's it. Not changing anything. I just made personal adjustments for me because I have one leg and no toes on the other foot and a bummed out knee.
Yeah.
So I want to move a little differently, but I can still do the same things effectively.
Yeah.
So because of that, I'm able to teach people that's on crutches, anybody with kind of physical impairments.
Right.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. That's interesting.
Yes, sir.
So tell me about some of the modifications then that you had to make for yourself, and then how you took those personal modifications. Like I imagine that helped you if a disabled person comes to you, like you're immediately able to start to see what they need to modify, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Um, what worked for me? Um, for instance, when we're doing the straight lead or whatever, right? A lot of times, if we're springing off the back leg, right?
Yeah.
What I used to do was make a large step. We're not even supposed to do that in the get go, but I learned to do it very subtly. I started doing things subtly, very subtly. That's how I began to do it because I was trying to do it the way I was used to doing it, and it wasn't working. I was losing too much balance because my leg is not the same.
Right.
So what I said maybe I'm doing too much. I would look at my own video and go, you know, I'm very observant, and I always criticize myself. And I said, that's why I'm sloppy. I'm trying to overdo it. Let me take small steps. Just like some people can't bend their knee, right? I'm a below the knee, so I'm able to bend my knee and still kick with it.
Yeah.
With a titanium leg.
Okay.
So if I front kick you with a rising kick to the groin, it's a trouble. I'm not gonna feel anything, but you are because my leg is titanium. And I practice with his leg a whole lot. So but that's what I try to get them to do. I try to get them
Right.
to exercise, and myself, the leg that with quote unquote the disabled leg or the one that's injured or whatever, right? So that's how I do it. I just believe that it's smaller steps and working on more relaxation and do a lot of balance training.
Right.
A lot of balance training.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like having a brand new leg again. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So that's how it works for me.
You see,
As far as my lower extremities, these
right.
here I have no problem with.
Yeah, I mean, you're able to keep all the boxing and what have you.
Oh yeah.
So, you see I think what you just touched on there to me is one of the most beautiful things about Jeet Kune. The freedom that one is allowed,
Yes.
right? I mean,
Yes.
so, but I'm not
Yes.
talking about like to be able to add any ridiculous thing, but having the, right?
No. Right.
Because even,
Keeping making the adjustment without losing
yeah,
the
yeah.
essence.
Um,
Right. That's what I'm heavy
tell
on.
me, because I'm wondering. Let me ask you this question: was there freedom,
Yes.
let's say, in a combative system like Kyokushin? Because Kyokushin is heavy on the fighting. What was there?
Absolutely.
Right, but was there a lot of freedom allowed in that? In some ways,
In my experience, no.
okay,
And you had to stick rigid to the plan.
interesting,
You know.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, it was. But I'm gonna tell you when I did some of the. I'm gonna tell you this though. What I did when I would do the Kyokushin for contact tournaments, I would use JKD principles. A lot of
okay,
intercepting, and I knew these guys kick high a lot.
right.
So what I would do is a lot of stop kicking, and it was like, "What are you doing?" And I would just tell them that we just ran into each other's foot, but that was my thing. Pow! I would do that, and then double kick, roundhouse, because you're allowed to kick in the face in
Yeah,
Kyokushin tournaments, but not punch in the face, which is
yeah.
weird to me. But that's what we were allowed to do. But I would use those principles a lot. I would get closer and pow, 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 if I could. So I would use that a lot because they was rigid on no, that's it. They saw you do a certain kick that didn't look familiar or it wasn't the
Right.
way they did it. You get yelled at later.
Ah,
Oh, what are you doing? I'm like, oh wow, yeah. In my experience, it may not be for
right.
everybody, but with me, it was not too much freedom. I'm just
Yeah.
keeping it
See,
real.
I didn't think
Yeah,
so. I thought, since they're big on the fighting, that they would allow other stuff
yeah,
in, right?
right.
Huh. That's interesting.
Not in
Right.
it itself,
Yeah. That's interesting.
unless people had other arts, because people cross train now. So,
Right.
but you
Yeah.
can go in there talking about you did this and that, and I didn't care.
Yeah.
Is either you kill Kushin or not.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
with your varied background, right? When you put stuff together, like can you give me an
yeah,
idea of like the approach that you use? Like, is there a formula that you use for putting stuff together?
yeah. Like I have a program that I started. Well, I always done this for myself, but I actually made a
Okay.
curriculum out of it, and I did something called elbow boxing. Right, came up with a thing called elbow boxing because I love to use elbows, and when I see a lot of infighting, people struggle with the infighting, and I see them having to retract so extremely.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, why do that when you could have just went up,
Right.
come across and
Right.
elbow?
Yeah.
So nobody's gonna just only box with their elbows because when people hear that, they think that's what it is. Just only use your elbows. No, I just did it as a curriculum in drills to get good at close fighting. You may just be able to do two. How to block and strike with the same elbow, or even move the hand out the way and hit with this one.
Yeah.
Just like JKD, you talk about the front hand education, 1, 2, 3,
Mm-hmm.
right? It
Mm-hmm.
throws people off. So I
Mm-hmm.
said we could do the same thing with the elbow and close fighting, right? those are adjustments I made. So I have a program just for that, for people that say, man, my inside game is horrible,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then also the compression boxing from one of my other instructors, which is Tommy Carruthers, showed me a lot. So I implemented a lot of his compression, boom, right from here, boom. And that's how it's supposed to be. But
Mm-hmm.
he keeps that essence. And he shared a lot of it with me. And I want to thank him. Thank you, Tommy Carruthers, for everything. He really polished me with the inside fighting. Because even when I was a boxer, I was mostly an outside fighter. And I
Right.
would have trouble with fighting inside. And it wasn't until I started learning compression boxing, I just started saying, oh, I could do it short. And then Tommy Carruthers helped me a lot with that
Nice.
personally.
Nice.
So yeah, so that's one of the things I did. I think out the box. Just work on your elbows.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying you're only going to fight with it, but when you have to use them, they will be very proficient.
Right. So that's connected to the, because I saw, was it a seminar you taught that was called Savage Street Boxing?
Yes, that's what it was.
Okay. Got it.
That's what it was. And there's a lot of dirty boxing, a lot of the Pantukan, in
Right.
there as well.
Okay.
Um, just any sort of dirty boxing from a boxing standpoint,
Yeah.
because a lot of guys I train are like street guys, They're not trouble guys, but they came from the street.
Yeah,
Now
I get
and
it.
a lot of them were former inmates, but they're in a life change, so they have this grittiness about them.
Mm-hmm.
But I humble them, and I know they're already coming with that. Don't It got to be real,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
like, trust me, it's gonna be. But they get it, so I just kind of showing that, boom, bam, bam, and they love it. They get
Right.
into it. Then I start introducing JKD principles, and they're like, wow, this is great, and it simmers them down.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my new students are crazy guys, but they're good people,
Yeah.
and it's working for them. It's working for them as far as the art and the humility is breaking them down. They don't walk around angry and feeling sorry for themselves. They're learning a new skill. And to see somebody like me that's so humble and been through a lot, it
Yeah.
impresses them
Yeah.
on a positive note. Not just that I'm this big guy, but it shows them that, man, I don't have to be angry. Look what this guy been through.
Right.
Look what he still goes through.
Right.
People talk about me on Facebook and have no idea of half the things I've been through.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm sure a million others go through the same.
Yeah. Did you study anything formally to become a martial arts psychologist?
You know what? No.
It's just
No.
life, huh?
This is what I'm heavy on. To share this with you. Yeah, but I did study forensic
Uh-huh.
psychology.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I studied forensic psychology and behavioral
Okay.
sciences because I was interested in how the mind thinks.
Right.
So this is
Right.
what a lot of my quotes come from that study because it's already in alignment with who I am. So I wanted to
Right.
learn
Okay.
deeper. So I understand human behavior, how the mind works,
Yeah.
and why people do things. But never graduated or anything for it. But I have the same as a person with a PhD, the same knowledge
Mm-hmm.
because I lived it and I used it to keep myself alive, right?
Right. Yeah.
Medically,
I,
physically, spiritually, and mentally.
mm-hmm. I kind of think that
But that was a good question, man. I never been asked that one.
I kind of think
That
that
was deep. That was a good one.
hey man, I'm just trying to come up to your level, all right? That's it.
Oh no, man, I'm just straight to the point with it. That is funny.
I think though that Jeet Kune people, maybe even more so than
Yeah.
other martial artists, right? I think JKD people should study
Hmm.
the behavioral sciences because there's so much depth to Jeet Kune. If I'm studying Shotokan,
Yes.
I'm not saying that Shotokan can't be deep, but it's pretty much there, and I have to do it their way. I don't have to express myself
Right.
with it, right?
Right. Right. Exactly. This is why I'm heavy. I call my program the freedom of expression
Uh-huh.
without losing the essence. That's why I call my program the freedom of expression, JKD, because, and I make sure they says with these methods,
Right.
right? Because we do it without losing the essence.
Right.
If I'm teaching a JKD class, I am teaching a JKD class,
Right.
nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Then I may teach. Then I may have a day where I say, I'm going to show you how you can go from JKD to Muay Thai in the sequence,
Right.
how you can make them work
Yeah.
together.
Actually, I wanted
But I
to
won't
ask you
call it a
about that.
JKD class.
Can you see this picture?
Which I don't. Which one behind you?
No. I put a
Or
picture into the stream, but I'm not sure if it comes up on your screen or not.
oh no, I don't see anything.
You don't see anything? Okay. So
Hold,
it's a picture of you.
hold.
Okay.
Oh no, sorry.
It's
no.
okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you
Okay.
which one it is. It's a picture of you in the guard
Okay.
position, right? But what's
Right.
interesting to me is on the whiteboard behind you, I think there's something that says JKD Muay Thai series.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That's something that my student put together. When I was at his
Ah,
school, that's something that
okay.
he put together. He was showing people how to go from JKD entries into Muay
Uh-huh.
Thai close quarter. That's what that particular class was for.
Okay.
Yeah, that's similar. What we just spoke about, what we just
Right.
mentioned, that how
Right.
you go from one to the next if you
Right.
want to blend them.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah. See, so because when I saw that, I was like, man, I think Shaan and me, I think we doing some similar stuff. All right.
Yeah. It's deep, man.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
because I'm thinking, man. Every art has something to offer.
right, right, and then what do you make of this? Bruce Lee himself said,
Yes.
until human beings have three legs and three arms, we're pretty much all gonna move the same way and do the same thing. So isn't
Same
isn't
way.
that permission then? Isn't that
Absolutely.
permission to study anything that you want to study and see how you can make it work?
Yes. And simplify it
Uh huh.
so it can work immediately.
Uh huh.
To me, to me, JKD is nothing but a reflex of simplicity and explosiveness executed through intercepting. You can do that with any art. Most people will argue differently.
Mm-hmm.
A Taekwondo person can master longest longest weapon to the nearest
Mm-hmm.
target, front
Mm-hmm.
hand education
Mm-hmm.
using a lead, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can apply to other arts. Why do you think he what you think he did to the karate guys that he was training, Joe Lewis and these guys
Right.
showing them pointers? You think they didn't use
Right.
those principles,
Right.
right? So it can work with any art if you keep the philosophy, concepts, and the essence. Don't mean you call it JKD because you're using the principles, but it can work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It can work.
That still
It's the
seems
boxer, Roy Jones. Let me tell you something. Roy Jones, hmm,
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Roy Jones was one of the few boxers that did a lot of JKD without knowing he was. Hand low and scooping up,
Yeah.
intercepting the guy, timing, using distancing,
Yeah.
front hand education, boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
lead hand.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff I noticed.
Yeah.
Even this, when he play around with you to throw you off, but that
Right.
was ABD, attack by drawing.
Right.
He was doing it constantly.
Right.
Then when you got your trouble,
Yeah.
ABC, attack by combination. I study these boxers and fighters, and I say Roy Jones is doing JKD without knowing he's doing it.
Did I
He's
see? Did I
using a
see?
lot of those attributes
Right.
that's in there.
Did I see him one time do a three-punch combination with the lead hand?
Yes, absolutely. Three 3 short, sweet hooks.
Right.
Boom, boom, boom. And tore the guy up. I said, what? And the guy was
Yeah.
confused. It was here, here, here.
Right. So JKD principles
3
are
reference points of the body.
right. Yeah. JKD principles are universal principles then, huh?
They can be. Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Would you say,
Because he created these. Listen, he created them from.
no, go ahead. Finish your statement.
I just thought he created them from boxing, Wing Chun, and basically fencing, right?
Yeah.
He used those principles with those.
Yeah.
3 total different arts, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you see how he used those principles to make them work together into a method,
Right. Right.
without it being so stylized. Just the concept,
Right.
right? Broke it down to he used all the simplistic values of those arts, the simplistic values of those arts, and try to even make it more simpler, in my opinion.
Right. Well, let me ask you this. So if Bruce Lee, so what about this?
Yes.
So Bruce Lee started with Wing Chun, boxing, and fencing. Can we continue with anything else, or are we supposed to stop there?
I think we should continue with everything else without losing the essence.
Right.
Because there's so much many arts, there's so much other knowledge there. Didn't he touch on Savat?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? 3 kicks from Savat that he uses, right? So you can keep going because we're constantly evolving, and we must do as well.
Right.
And you can evolve without actually changing the essence of an art. This is what people have a difficulty of doing. And this is the problem, because people try to get complex. When you start getting complex and adding too much, you already lost the essence of JKD. This is based on simplicity,
Yeah.
right? And this is when people, and you know what it is? There's so much in depth with JKD, right? But there's not a lot in JKD. You get what I mean? It's very basic, simple things. It's what you grow from, right? People do the straight lead, right? You're doing the straight lead. You do it 1,000,000 times. What did you learn from it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You get better at it. I love that. I love that it's only a few things. You know, a lot of people don't. They don't have the patience to keep doing something over and over until they get amazingly naturally with it.
Right.
Because they want to look like they have so much. So they go to this art, this art, this art, this art, this art, this art. Some people go to the arts so they can look good. Others go for the knowledge of building and you know, and continuing growth. But a lot of people are doing it because, you know, they want so much more of it. They don't have the patience to say, let me perfect this.
Yeah.
Right here. Let me perfect this finger jab.
Yeah.
To a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Let me start learning how to do it from any angle, from any sitting position.
Right.
Even if I'm in the hospital bed, I used to just, you know, throw a piece of paper in the air, look away, and come back and try to catch it with a finger jab. Those are drills I created myself in the bed. I have footage of me in the hospital training my students, going over trapping and while I'm in the bed. Because I said, I can't move. So what if that really happens? I get injured in my hip, or my leg does get injured. I must learn how to still continue.
Yeah.
So I would practice it. Right? So it's about just refining and creating more drills to do the same thing over and over. When you start getting complex, you have no naturalness. Your response is you're not gonna have a natural immediate reflex response.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
yours is the thinking man's Jeet Kune.
What's my favorite technique? Yeah. Yes. I like that. I'm gonna use that. Yes. It is though. It is, man. It is. I try to apply that with everything.
Right.
The thinking man's Jeet Kune. Oh, yes.
What do you think is?
I agree.
What do you think is the biggest contribution that Jeet Kune has made? All right, so I'm going to do this in 2 parts. What do you think is the biggest contribution that Jeet Kune has made to the martial art world? but also what is a big contribution that Jeet Kune still has to make to the martial art world?
I think the big contribution it has made is to simplify self-defense.
Okay.
Simplify self-defense. I think the contribution is getting and is also allowing people to be themselves and discover who they are by using having a simple foundation and just building your natural skill set.
Right.
People in the street, when they fight, they put their hands up as they box. This is why boxing became popular.
Yeah.
Because naturally we put up our hands.
Yeah.
Right? Even if we're not good boxers or trained boxers, we put up our hands in the street. So that essence is already there. So to study boxing is a natural thing. Now you build these things. So I think the contribution is to simplify self-defense and keep it real as possible. That's the good thing. What it still has to make, I think what it still has to make is it has to grow with honesty.
Ah, that's interesting.
I think it has to make more honesty. Because you have people that would train JKD, learn 3 things, and then go study this art and say he's a master at JKD, right?
Right.
Now, I don't care what people claim or whatever they do, but if I'm going to study something or if I want to grow from it, what we have to make is build off of the advancement is nothing but the mastery of basics and be able to do them at will, being able to apply them at will without thought, right? Just like you said, the track's all by itself. It happens all by itself, right? Yeah, because you're studying the simplistic things over and over consistently, rather than trying to. And I think what it needs to make is an amends with the essence of what JKD is supposed to be. That's the biggest thing for me. A lot of people don't know how to grow from something without changing it. Don't change it. You can
Right.
evolve everything and still keep the essence.
Yeah.
That's when that means if you can't do that, then you're not really doing the work. You're just being a copycat of something, or you're looking for accolades to do all these other things.
Right.
You're trying to become a superhuman,
Right.
rather than yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I feel.
I used to Sifu Asano used to say all the time that Bruce, like in response to people telling Bruce Lee how incredible he was, he would say, "I just do simple things in an incredible way."
That's it.
You see? Yeah. I mean, because
Yes.
Bruce Lee was willing to do 1,200 punches or more in a day. Most people don't have that.
Right.
They don't have that drive. They don't have that patience. And
Right.
I think that
they want 1,000 different kicks.
right, exactly.
You know?
But see, when I talk to somebody like you who has had, like, I mean, compared to me, right, somebody who has had real life experiences, I have never been in the hospital. Okay, I have never been that sick to be in the hospital.
Yes.
I have never broken
Yes.
a limb. Nothing like that. When I talk to somebody like you,
Wow. Right.
it just reinforces for me how incredible it is that we all have this Jeet Kune thing in common. We're all making use of this one thing to develop ourselves. We all have these different backgrounds, but we're pulled by this same force, And to me, that is the most blessed thing in my world. It's the most blessed
Yes,
thing.
I agree.
And
I agree.
to have a chance to be able to exchange with somebody like you and hear about your experiences and what it is, that just adds to my store of knowledge, my store of information. The next time I'm in class and somebody's complaining about something, I'm going to tell them about you. You know, right?
Wow.
Right? And I'll be like, listen, man, this guy
Yeah.
flatlined 3 times. One
Yeah.
time, so please don't complain to me. You
Right.
get what I'm saying?
Right. I
Right?
understand. Yeah. Yeah. I do the same thing, and I say you can do it better
Yeah,
because you have your
yeah,
natural leg. You have
yeah,
your natural leg. You have all
yeah.
your toes in your left foot.
Yes,
You don't
yes,
have pain in your bladder. You know, you don't have lung things. You don't have two other transplants in your body. You know,
right,
two other organs from two different people in your body.
right,
Work
right.
it
Yeah,
while you have your health.
yeah,
Appreciate what I'm giving you and take it to another level.
yeah. I
You
mean,
know, that's it.
how can we package that and get it to people, man? That mindset.
You know what? People gotta wanna. To be honest, people have to start wanting to be real people first.
Yeah,
A lot of people want accolades um, without earning them. Honestly,
right,
we're gonna keep it real. Um, you only have a certain mindset when you want something, right? If my mindset is to survive because I want to live, I don't want to be harmed, right? That's what I want.
hmm,
I want to live and I don't want to be harmed. So if I'm going to train and my mindset is survival, I'm going at an all-time high with it. Let me tell you something. I studied many arts and I was into the Philippine art, but you know what brought me back to JKD in the recent last 3 years? I mean, heavily now, because this is all I'm doing is doing some of it every day, right?
hmm,
Is what I went through.
right,
Is what I went through.
yeah,
The simple prayers, the simple mindset of saying, I'm going to beat this. The first time I had cancer in 2004, I'm 6'1". I weighed 148 pounds. Face was stuffed in. Thought I was going to pass. And I woke up and I said, I'm going to beat this too. And I did. It was the simplistic, and it was my freedom to say, this is what I'm going to do. I set my mindset.
hmm,
Once I have the mindset, my spirit is there.
right,
My spirit is there to apply what's on my mind. You understand? My family, they thought I was crazy. Oh, you just got out of the hospital. Why are you training? Because it's helping my circulation.
right,
So my leg can heal faster.
right.
See? They looking at it like, oh, he's going to hurt himself. He needs to heal. As long as I don't do too much, I know how much to do. But I have to keep moving. The body needs to move, right?
Mm-hmm, hmm,
The leg I had surgery on, I would just do it like knee raises and stretch it out. It healed a lot quicker when I did that. It usually
right,
takes people 2 years before, when you get to amputation, it usually takes about 2 years before it gets back to a normal size. Because when it's first amputated, it's like this, like the elephant man. And then every few, you get all these prosthetics until you
right,
get the right one and it's the size of your natural leg again.
right,
Then it's lighter and you can walk and you can do whatever. Mine went like this, like a little after a year, it just went shoo, because of me doing that. My mindset. So people need this mindset to become warriors and not celebrate false accolades. People they want to look good. They want to look good. We all
hmm,
do,
hmm,
but I want mine to be real.
hmm,
If I'm going to look good, I want it to be because I'm doing something real, not because I'm trying to look good. I have people say, "Oh, you're just doing that TikTok. It will never work." I've done it my whole ice career against multiple people.
right,
It's worked for me. I wouldn't teach if it didn't. I survived it and didn't come out harm. And I had to constantly physically fight
yeah,
doing that job.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So, um,
Do you know who Greg Nelson is?
Greg Nelson, that name sounds familiar. I don't think I've seen that name. I don't know if he's a Facebook
Yeah,
friend.
he's out of
I don't know offhand. I think so.
Yeah, he's out of Brooklyn. What's it called? Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. He's Rose. Yeah, he's
Really?
Rose. His place is called the Academy, and he coaches the UFC girl Rose Namaunas or something.
Oh, yes, 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 yes.
Right?
Know of him? Yes.
Okay. No,
Yes. Okay, I knew him.
the,
Yes.
the reason why I ask is because Greg has not an identical but a similar story, similar to yours, because he's a survivor also. He's a cancer survivor as well. So I just
Right.
wondered if you guys
Right.
ever
Right.
corresponded or whatever, because I think you'd find each other fairly simpatico in that regard.
Mm. Yes, we have, but not on that level where
Okay.
I got that deep or that personal.
Okay.
But I'm open to it if he's, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we understand things that outside people wouldn't,
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
besides imagery that they
Right.
think or see.
Right.
But to actually live it is a whole different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Hey.
would love to connect with people like that. This is why I do it, to help others if I can, or get help from others as well, myself.
Mhm, mhm.
Right?
That's the other thing. I think sometimes a lot of people that are in JKD, they forget the part about helping others. Like they get so caught up in their own thing, they forget that it's all about helping others.
Right. This is why I share everything.
Yeah. Nice.
I share
Nice.
my knowledge ASAP. As
Right.
soon as I learn something, I share it with my students, especially ones I feel deserve,
Hmm.
the knowledge, and I know they're going to do the right thing with it. I share it right away.
Right.
Guys, listen, I just picked up on something. I'm going to share it with you. Let me see what you come up with it. Do you understand it? Yes. Let's practice it. Let me see. Okay. Do your homework and come back. Let me see what you built from it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Why am I holding it for me for?
I get it, man.
Can you imagine if Bruce never did Easter?
Right.
Right? Can
Yeah.
you imagine what would we be doing right now?
I tell
Where's
you,
the
you and I wouldn't be
inventory?
getting to know each
We would
other.
have the
I
dialogues.
guarantee you
If
that.
he'd have kept it to himself like he wanted to,
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah, man.
right? So that's how I look
Yeah.
at it.
So listen, what?
One thought.
Right.
Yes,
What's the best way? Let's start
yes.
to close this up. What's the best way for people to get in touch with you, man?
Man, you can hit me here on Facebook, IG. You can email me at sdcombatsys, short for system, at gmail.com.
All
I'm
right.
going to speak, train, sit down, break bread with anyone who's willing to.
All right. And
All right, get me up, Sean Davis.
okay, so now I got to ask you this.
SHAAN.
I got to ask you this. Who's
Yes.
somebody that you think I should try to get on the program, whether they've been on before or not? Do you have anybody in mind?
That's a good question. I have somebody in mind, but they're so private they may not want to do it.
Uh,
you know.
uh,
Wow, I do have somebody great in mind. Can I get back to you on it?
sure, sure, sure.
I don't want to say their name out
Right.
because just in case,
I
like
understand.
they surprise me sometimes. But it's a female that also taught me, um, and she's awesome. And you will love to have a conversation with her. I'm sure she'll have a conversation with you, but
Hmm.
if she wants to be on this platform, that's
Right.
another
Right. Okay.
story.
I get it. I get it. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, no. I mean, and anybody else that you think about, just get back to me, man. But
I definitely will.
all right.
Sir.
All right. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure, man. I really appreciate your taking the time.
Are we
Wait.
back? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're back.
Sorry, a call came in.
Right.
Thank you, man, for having me.
And so, can you? Hey, Vengeance Serve
Yeah,
Cold. Is that going to come out in the cinema, or is it going to be on Netflix or something? Do you know anything about
I
that?
pray so.
Okay.
We are in. They are in talks with the distribution, so it may be on
Nice.
Netflix. Yes.
Nice.
I don't think the cinema, to be honest, but I would be surprised.
Okay.
It would be a blessing, but
Sweet.
definitely would be possibly on Netflix.
All right,
That's
man.
the direction that is going.
Well, listen, best of luck on
Praying
that
on that, and
project.
it's looking really good.
Best of luck on that and everything
Thank
else
you.
that you do, man. It was a
Shout
real
out to
pleasure.
Jackie White and Brian.
All right. All right, man. You take care. We'll talk again.
Thank you. Anytime you want me back, I'm always open.
All right, man.
UK, take care.
All right. Take care.
All right, brother.
All right. So that was episode number 193 with Shaan Davis. Check him out on here on Facebook. So that's it for today. Feel free, share, like, comment, ask questions. I'll ask Shaan to take a look in the comments and see if there's anything he needs to answer. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods and on Instagram at Dwight D. Woods. Next Friday, September 17th, we'll be on with another one of my Jeet Kune Facebook friends. So you'll see me getting to know somebody at the same time that you do. So we'll be on with Jeremiah Gill. And I'll make sure to get the correct pronunciation of his name, right? So, and that should be regular 6 p.m. time next Friday. So I'll see some of you next week. Hopefully I'll see some of you next Wednesday, 6 p.m. for the I Love Jeet Kune broadcast. But until then, you guys stay safe, take it cool, hang out till the next episode. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Rebel, signing off. Enjoy your weekend. Take care.